Hello YouTube. So today, this is a bit early, for an audio recording. I know that, but really, I hadn't done one yet. Had for the Saturday one. Having trouble editing it for some reason. It's like it won't let me finish it. It's odd. Anyway, today we'll be talking about identities. I just figured it would be an interesting subject because really it's like no one talks about this often. Or really I just think I need to put my input on what an identity is for someone. So I guess let me begin. So really, your identity is you. You are you. There's no way you can change that. Like my identity is, well, I have multiple identities, I guess you could say, that I go by. I go by crazy here online on the internet, where I go by my real name in my regular daily life. So it's like, how put to words? Well, as I guess it's a more proper way to say it is, you are you. And yourself is changing every single day as you learn, grow, make mistakes, make better choices, or make worse mistakes. It's like it's always constantly changing. It is never the same. And so with that, it's just like you are growing every single day. That's what your identity is. You are a growing person until the end, I guess you could say. Which everyone has a different opinion on what happens after this life and all of that. I have my belief in all of that, and I'm happy with it. Because really, it's like when I look at the other one, it's like, I don't know, some of them seem a bit more sad or a bit more like that doesn't make fully sense. But that's my own personal viewpoint. Anyway, so with people's identities, you have to be like careful with younger ones when helping them grow their identities, because they can't really understand the things that us older people do, which a lot of you older people would understand, while the younger ones are like the young audience is like 15 and 17, but I never get viewed by kids who are under 18 for some reason. I don't know why it happens. Like, I don't target, like, I think the YouTube algorithm made a mistake in one of my videos one time, or one of my older videos, and basically marked me as a mature channel. I am not only mature, I'm like, I can let 13 to 17 year olds watch. Like, I don't swear actually at all. I don't know why the YouTube algorithm does it. If you guys can actually like explain that to me, and maybe ask YouTube, hey, why aren't you letting 13 and 17 and younger to watch me, or like to 13, because 13 to 17 range, I don't get any views from that age. And I'm like, my channel is a bit aimed at that area actually, like teenage years and up. I'm not a mature channel, so why am I getting only mature viewers? Is my content that bad for the young ones or something? Maybe it's because none of the younger generation have found me yet. At 13, of course, I don't do kids videos because it doesn't make people money, really. So, anyway. What to do? Yes, I do want to do YouTube as a future job, if you can't tell. So please do support these videos of mine if you could. I have all types of content. If you want me to go back, maybe do some of my older content like stop motion animation with Gotcha Club. I have no problem with that. You know what? I'm getting really off track here with the identities, whole thing of this audio recording. Basically, I actually summed it very quick, and now I just have no idea what else to say. Oh boy. And well, maybe more like I do have like some problems. Like some adults like think once they reach 13, oh yeah, you can start easily explaining them a lot more complicated stuff like right off the bat, like when they start getting 8 or older, or when they're in junior high, you can start explaining extremely complicated stuff. And I'm like, you all realize there's a reason there's grades all the way until they're like 18, right? Cause I'm sorry, but like they go through the grades and all of that of different like ages and growth rates for a reason. Like there's reasons there's grades through 1 to 12, cause they give time for all the younger ones to grow over time at their own rates, and not just like, oh, the moment you get to this age, you get jumped into all this complicated stuff. Sure, it gets more complicated, but they actually try to like push people towards this specific stuff they're learning at a proper rate. They try to. Not all schools do it well, but that's the main idea of it. And so it's like jumping the gun at them, or like I guess you yeeting them out the window at a 7-story building thinking they'll be smart enough to use the parachute on their back when they have no training at all, or basically just an idea what a parachute is, if that's their only education bit of knowing what it is. What do you think they're going to do? They have no idea what specific string to pull. Nothing like that. So it's like you have to be reasonable when it comes to like these type of things when helping kids grow their identities. Because, really, I mean, I've heard some messed up stuff in my days. Like, because of maybe improper parenting or terribleness from the teachers, I've heard stories of, like, younger children doing very adult things. I do not want to even get into that anymore other than that. Like, elementary school, doing, like, 18 plus stuff and above. I'm not going any further. I don't want to see that happening to my future kids. If like teachers are letting this get by, or like the parents are letting this happen, it's like it affects the child's future. And those two kids who were in elementary or any grade in general, and all until like they're old enough to actually know that stuff, which is probably like when the parents decide. Okay, when the parents decide. Which I'm definitely going to start teaching my son at 12 and maybe my daughter or sons and daughters at, yeah, I'm not sure. I definitely am planning to have future kids, although I just haven't got any yet. Anyway, the whole point is you have to be careful when speaking with them at all times. It's because you have to understand that they're still growing and having identity problems. And the reason I'm actually like worried about this with younger generation is because a person that I was in a chat with one time, he went and got upset at this group of kids who were bullying someone by using the word gay. And I'm like, okay, that's completely understandable. And I just want explanation on your tone. Because from what he told me, Yes, you might get out of being reading everything else like it up. No. Sad night, but if you know when it over. Sad the dust up. How? Very mycket. Det är så också då mycket. Man ska faktiskt nästan snälla för det. Ja, en gillar gjorde upp benen i den sen jag kan så få när så är det väl. Ja, när jag får session om jag får vi men någon sån. Snästan så i det mig hade så. Ja, så bara. Det är helt annat vi seriös nesse sel nervösa sipen. Ai no, you looks the wire you for sadness. The back you walked. Fasiba. I know was actually was go snel dasen så raschen fassa ni stau. We fina fjör vitan. He was handling 13, no, not 13th grade, 13-year-olds, I believe, like 6th grade, was it? Like, in elementary, basically. Because in my area, it's like, people in the 6th grade are in the elementary school, so. Anyway. With that, it's just like, wait a minute, these kids are fairly still young, and you're telling them, wait a minute, what tone of voice? How are you handling it? Like, what are you telling them? And the way he worded it, I was a bit worried. Because it's like basically said, in a way, and from what I understood from what he explained to me, which really, I mispresented myself when I was just trying to ask it, because everyone thought I was bullying the LGBTQs who was just saying that, discussing and all of that. No, I'm like, well, how did you handle it? Is what I was trying to understand, and the way he sounded like he handled it is basically he was telling the kids that with 100% without a doubt, how that there was several of them that were going to be LGBTQ, and no, if I I am not technically out. The one I can follow. I can from the past, the door, the view is not the past, the cigar. Not so was the past horses like up so far as so for the props, no, or else, no, most of this and therefore, but though, stream without fancy. Love them. So they don't wish that it fucked now wish up and you see it snaps you for weight so one boss when you could walk out and know it some sure more as I say not yet fast with them now we him spit law we with that night you're stuck you still like a fan now yes, yeah, this is more for you. Snap it, soft snow came in. Him knows near one to even extend you. May I when the exit in the soft up. Here's the door we had in Zoe. Yes, I say you. As you must say, I can get your coffee. Yeah, it's a lot of how. But I get to see the freaking get back to me on Wednesday night. That's all. Yeah, I'll say my name. My from you, because it's all yeah, hobby. We nothing about it. As I keep saying, him yours, him new, him, no one ever said, look, so that's, yeah, I was not, you'll make them more. And then we could sit up there to see, because it in the sex, and find it all, but we could talk, and now still more. Or be like that, something in the pop up store. And the shits, if mark, find out you. The very essence I am a saltiness and you have to start me talk for you when I'm based, fed, making it that actual for so. One week, no, the only office no. In the cellar, or keep show for you. Yes, you ain't no one such as it never know. there's nothing they can do about it, and they're gonna have to be like LGBTQ something more. That's what I understood from what he was telling me. And even another person came in and basically said that you don't have control over who you love and all of that. In a way, because he basically said you don't have control over if you're LGBTQ or not. And I'm like, that's basically saying, hey, you don't have control over who you love. Like, it's basically a soulmate thing. Or if your soulmate ends up being an abuser, and yet you're saying that I can't stop that then? Because that's what I got from him, really, when he said that. And really, everyone thought I was being a jerk, really, but I was like trying to understand what everyone was saying. I was just trying to get a clear view on what they were trying to say. And he just went basically stated from my point of view that basically you don't get control over your love life. And basically if you end up with someone terrible or sucks to be you, probably the best way out would be then, I don't know, if you get what that means, that, yeah. Because that's what I got from him. That's what I understood from the one. And then the other one who went handled it, people were getting really, like, there was one person who was LGBTQ, they are trans and all of that. Sorry, it's a bit hard for me to say it because I have different viewpoints on it, but it's my life and it's their life. I have no dictation. I try my best to respect it. I did try my best not to accidentally call them the actual gender and all of that, or you know what, people are probably gonna kill me over this. Anyway, she apparently had choice words for me that she wanted to say when I just decided to drop the topic because I wasn't getting any information really. Because my whole problem with the first guy's statement was basically that he basically shoved the idea down the kids, his and all that, and basically told him, one of you is gay or LGBTQ, and there is no say. So basically, he went and put them through an identity crisis, really, when they're just kids. It's like they shouldn't have to question, do I like boys and girls? Do I like boys or girls? That's thinking 13. They shouldn't have to worry about that kind of stuff until a few more years at least. At least 16. That's when they only get to start dating, really. And they shouldn't have to worry about marriage until they're 18. Even if they want to get married. It's I don't know. It's just, with that, it's just basically he's stating that you have to start worrying about it now because, as apparently, only 13-year-olds should know whether or not they're gay or lesbian or whatever the LGBTQ thing. They are forced into that position where their mindsets, where they're questioning their self-health importance or basically who they are. They start questioning who they are and have an identity crisis. And I'm like, sure, everyone has every now and then, but forcing it upon a kid when they're young and 13 about something that's basically meant for romantic stuff when they're 13, no, that's not cool at all. And that's my viewpoint on it. Some people will probably kill me over it, really. I'm not kidding. I've had bad experiences with LGBTQ before, but they're not bad people. I have a few friends who are bi and all of that. It's their lives, and I'm just happy being straight myself, really. But I don't force them to choose or anything. So, I don't get why people are fighting between, those who are straight and those who are LGBTQ. It's we're people here. Can we just all, let each other live each other's personal lives and just, not force ideas onto children and just let people choose for themselves when they're old enough? My only problem is he basically made him go through an identity crisis from what I understood and what potentially could have happened. Because in my opinion, you should not force down ideas of romantic stuff, of basically having to choose whether you're LGBTQ or not until they're 16, at least when they can start dating and all of that. Because that's no, just no, they're kids. Kids should be allowed to live a peaceful, happy childhood, not to worry about the big troubles of adulthood. They shouldn't have to worry about that until they start getting older. 13 is when they barely start having a transition in adulthood, really. While 8 to 12 is them getting an idea of making choices and all of that. That's my own viewpoints on it, although. And it's like just seeing that happen is, or hearing that happen is like, I'm just like wondering what's gonna happen to those kids, because it's like what are going through their brains, because every child reacts differently. No one reacts the same. And really, I was actually a bit young when this happened. I wasn't a full grown adult yet, or a young adult technically. And I got, well, after the harshness, really, from my point of view, of them being harsh to me when I was just trying to understand and also make sure that he was being like, I don't know, properly staying with proper wording and not like forcing an idea down kids' throats or other kids really that are younger than me. And they, yeah, people got upset at me for just worrying about kids, and I'm like, okay. So I have had bad experiences with LGBTQ. I do not feel the safest around them because I always have to worry about what I'm saying constantly. Because if I say something wrong, that I worry they may target or hurt my family just because I have different standards than them. And now people are probably going to try and come and kill me. And it's like, you can come and kill me all you want. I just don't want you near my family. Because I don't want you to hurt them. Not because you're LGBTQ, no. It's because I don't want them to get hurt. My own life, I'm like, meh. I know people are going to hate me for being different. I have friends who are LGBTQ and they're pretty chill. Like a few ones are calm. They don't force their ideas upon me. I even had a discussion with one. She is bi and all of that. And I'm like, And we had a discussion about our beliefs. Like, she believes in the Greek gods and all of that, or goddesses as well. Well, I'm like, I don't. Yeah. And she believes he exists some thing about the afterlife. Like, there's 3 different places he can end up going to. And I'm like, yeah. Yeah. I don't fully understand the whole Greek gods or goddesses stuff, or what they consider gods and all of that. But it's her thing, and I'm fine with it. It's like, alright, it's your life. I would like if you gave my belief a chance, but you have full right of what you do. Because in my belief, actually, we believe everyone has the right of choice to choose their own lives and all of that, and that's one of the main things. Like, let them choose their own lives. We can teach them about the belief if they want to listen, but if they don't, they don't have. have to, and that's absolutely fine. So Yeah, but basically my whole thing with this identities video is don't make others, especially young ones, question their self-identities about stuff like that until they're the proper age. Like when it comes to stuff romantic, wait until 18 and older. Although when it comes to like, I don't know, I have yet to decide all the different love reads in my own personal opinion. Like not everyone has to agree with this. You can go and dislike if you want. It's like I just don't want to see any hate comments. But I wish I could have the confidence to speak on a chat again with them actually, and all of that. I'm still in the chat that had those people, but it's like I'm not fully comfortable talking with them because really the only one person bothered to ask what was going on with my side of things, and I would manage to explain it to him, and he was like, "Oh, that's okay, that's understandable," because like he's like, "Oh, okay," and really with me, I'm like, when it comes to like young children, they should not have to worry about stuff like LGBTQ stuff until 18, 16. They shouldn't have to worry about it at all. It's just they should have a childhood. And me, he's seen like you've all heard the story of the person, of this mother and father who basically saw their son play with a doll and then basically changed his name to a girl's name and basically made him trans and all of that in an instant, basically, when just flopside their son over to a girl, basically, just because he played with a doll when he was 4. That's the most idiotic thing I've ever seen in my life, and celebrities supported it. Like, you guys are doing a great job supporting the LGBTQ, and it's like, yeah, okay, but this guy's it's a stinking 4-year-old. I play with dolls, and yet I'm straight and a boy. I was born a boy, and I'm happy that way. And yet you're telling me, just because this boy over here went and played with dolls, like I did, he's suddenly trans? What the... Garbage. I'm sorry, that's absolute garbage. Like, you can't just do that to a child. That's stuff that's for way later in life to worry about or not. Because, you know what, in my personal opinion, but people will kill me over it, so I'm not going to bother saying it. Because as I stated, I've had bad experiences with LGBTQ, but they're not all bad people. I do have friends that are LGBTQ. But you should not go and do that to a child. I do not care your reasoning or any sort of excuse you try and make. A child that is 4 years old or anywhere near that age range until like 16 should not have to worry about choosing LGBTQ stuff until then, because they are a child. Children deserve just to live a peaceful childhood without having to worry about things of adults until they start growing through that whole stuff of hormones and drama stuff that happens. They shouldn't have to worry about it. It's just like, I don't know, I'm disappointed in humanity sometimes when they do like stuff that makes no sense. Because that made no sense. Celebrities support the idea of a child basically being told he's trans now, all because he played with a doll. I played with dolls. I have a giant frog, for crying out loud, doll that I still have with me, alongside a turtle with a blue turtle with a pirate hat, and a few other dolls I've collected throughout my time, and yet I'm not anything like that. I'm a straight boy who's been born a boy, and I'm happy with that. And yet this 4-year-old boy is suddenly told that he is... Yeah, no. Don't do that to a kid. Anyway, it's Crazy Boy, or Crazy actually, I'm trying to remember to say that from now on. And I'm out here.